of New York City. It's Times Square. And with that, we pan off the beautiful chandelier here at the lifestyles of the rich and famous. My name is Todd Grisham. Next to me, my two cohorts, of course, the Latin Snake himself, extreme close-up, Sergio Mora, and there's Chris Mannix on the far right-hand side. Guys, we got three fantastic fights, Sergio. We got Rolly Romero taking on Ryan Garcia. We got Devin Haney taking on Ramirez. We've got Barboza taking on Teofimo Lopez. Which one has you the most excited?
Which one has me tickled? Arnold Barboza, Teofimo. Teofimo's always the best at 140. Barboza has momentum going forward with his last couple of wins. I think stylistically, that was the best fight.
Yeah, I'm looking at the main event. Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. There will be three judges seated ringside to score that fight. I can all but promise you those three judges will not be needed. This is a battle between two of the bigger punchers in these lower weight classes. We've seen what Ryan Garcia can do. Rolly Romero, a lot of knockouts on his resume. Tank Davis, who has faced them both, said recently that Rolly Romero actually punches harder than Ryan Garcia. So both these guys are going to be going for knockouts, and I think one of them is going to get it. I think that is a fantastic action fight at the top of this bill.
Well, it hasn't taken long for Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero to get things heated up. Let's take a look at a tweet that Ryan Garcia posted. I believe it was earlier today, if not last night, and I'll try and skip through some of the profanity as best I can. Rolly, I'm going to let you know through this tweet, I hope you understand this truly. I'm not taking you lightly at all. I'm coming with some real anger, and I'm sorry it has to be you. You can say all the funny stuff you're going to say Tuesday, but if you cross the line, I'm going to slap the F out of you, I promise. You're here to be funny. That's it. Funny is what got you here, so don't change course. Grandpa had your ass fighting for your life, and Pitbull had you looking for Easter eggs in the ring. I'm going to have you lay down your gloves in the ring like MMA fighters retiring. Sergio, rate that post.
You know how many times I want to write the exact same post about Chris Mannix here, but I do not. Look, he's selling the fight. Ryan Garcia is selling the fight, and we know that he's unpredictable. And one thing about Ryan is that he has a large following. When he speaks, everyone listens. I love the fact that he's turning heel, and he's actually doing that. So what do I think of it? Selling the fight, baby.
Chris, you've been around Ryan Garcia earlier today, and you said he feels different, or things seem different than they were last time we saw him.
Yeah, it's been almost a year since we saw Ryan Garcia here in New York City for that Devin Haney fight. And the Ryan Garcia that was in New York during that week was a guy that was bordering on manic. When we all saw his behavior, he was very fired up, very emotional. This was a very different version of Ryan Garcia. Over the last few months, he has really settled down. He is back working with Eddie Reynoso for this fight, so I think being back in that structured environment has certainly helped him. But I think we're just going to see a very different version of Ryan Garcia on Fight Night. I was talking to him about how he goes into this fight preparing for Rolly Romero. He said it's not going to be like it was against Devin Haney, where I'm just charging in, looking for a knockout, willing to take a punch. I'm going back to the old Ryan Garcia, the guy that set up his shots, the guy that knocked out Luke Campbell with a body shot, the guy that knocked out Francisco Fonseca with a left hook upstairs. That is the fighter that Ryan Garcia is trying to get back to. I think he's got the right opponent in front of him in Rolly Romero, who is a strong fighter, but has proven in recent fights he is a fighter there to be hit.
Well, let's talk about the guy that Ryan Garcia faced off against in New York last April. That's Devin Haney. Sergio, he's got so many unanswered question marks around him heading into this fight against Jose Ramirez. And as for Ramirez, I think you'll both agree it's a last chance saloon for him as far as a big-time fight if he doesn't get this win. Break down that matchup for us.
You know, it's going to go the distance. I mean, neither guys have got knocked out, and Haney doesn't have the power. Ramirez, at this stage of his career, doesn't have the power as well. He hasn't really looked good in his last couple of fights, Ramirez has, and Haney, he still has an undefeated record. This is a moment for him to actually shine and say that he's still here. He's still one of the big guys at 140, but he has to do it against an ex-Olympian and a former unified champion in Ramirez. If he can do something big, especially maybe even get a knockout, that's when you turn all heads and steal the show.
I don't think a knockout's coming for Devin in this fight. And I think he's got to be careful in this fight because I think Jose Ramirez is still a little bit dangerous. I know he didn't look great in that fight against Arnold Barboza. Just couldn't pull the trigger against a fighter that he was very familiar with. But for Jose Ramirez, to your point, Todd, this is his last chance. Like, if he loses this fight, it may be the end of the line for him. He's moving up in weight. He doesn't have to squeeze all the way down to 140, which we know has been a problem for him in some recent fights. I think he's going to bring, you're going to get the very best out of what's left of Jose Ramirez. And I think that's going to make for a pretty interesting tactical fight against Devin Haney.
Talk about a wild card. How about Teofimo Lopez? It feels like he hasn't fought in 5 years, but we hear him talking all the time about fighting. Finally, he gets back in the ring May 2nd. What do you make of that matchup against Barboza Jr., who's coming off the biggest win of his career against Jack Catterall in the Lion's Den over in the UK?
No, I think that's going to be the fight of the night, the fight that steals the show, because Barboza is coming off maybe the 2 big wins of his career with Ramirez and Catterall, so momentum's on his side. Teofimo, he's hit and miss, but we still know that he's the goods at 140. He's a top dog at 140, so let's get that out the way. When he has his head on straight, he has the speed, the power to do everything great. But with Barboza, I just think, greatness is on his side, and he's been waiting for this moment. I think that's going to be the fight that steals the show.
I don't see how it steals the show, because I think it's going to be a tactical fight too. Like, I think Ryan against Rolly is
that's dynamite.
Letting that leather fly. That, to me, is going to be the fight of the night. But this is definitely a fight that I think is probably going to be a lot more competitive than some people think. A lot of people have seen Teofimo Lopez over the years, going back to that win over Lomachenko, the more recent win over Josh Taylor. Sergio's right. He is the man right now at 140 pounds. But momentum is on the side of Arnold Barboza. And Barboza fights a style that Teofimo has shown he struggles against. You look at the way he moved Barboza. That's kind of the way Jermaine Ortiz moved in his fight against Teofimo. It's kind of the way Sandor Martin moved in his fight against Teofimo. Teofimo loves it when you come right at him. If you're right in front of him, Teofimo is going to chop you up. He's going to piece you up. But against someone like Barboza, who's going to be using the entirety of the ring, he's going to box just like he did against Jose Ramirez. He has the potential to squeeze out a decision in a fight like this.
Squeeze out a great decision against Catterall, who's a completely different fighter than Teofimo Lopez is. But he was so patient in that fight. He picked his spots so well. He was the aggressor. He dominated long stretches of that fight. I know he got the win over in the UK. How should Teofimo Lopez approach Barboza if he can get the knockout that he seems to believe that he can get?
I don't think he gets the knockout. I think if Teofimo goes for the knockout, he's going to be running into shots with Barboza, because Barboza has a little bit of Cambosis in him. He has a footwork, the in and out style, and we know what Cambosis.
He dropped Ramirez as well.
Exactly. So I just think he shouldn't be going for the knockout. Teofimo has underrated boxing ability. If he's going to have to be smart against Arnold Barboza. Like Chris just mentioned, the momentum is on his side, the footwork is on his side, the timing is on his side. It's the wrong style matchup for Teofimo to go looking for thunder and looking for the knockout. So I think this is the reason it's an intriguing fight.
And one thing to remember about Teofimo is that he is now part of Camp Canelo. Like, he is down there in San Diego working with Eddie Reynoso. Very crowded camp down there these days. Jaime Munguia is there, Ryan Garcia is there, and of course Canelo Alvarez is there. But Teofimo is there as well, and I think he's trying to learn to expand his game. One of the areas that Teofimo has struggled with in recent fights is cutting the ring off. Like, when guys are moving, he doesn't cut the ring off all that well. Who is among the best fighters in boxing at cutting the ring off? Canelo Alvarez is really, really good at that. If Teofimo can take something like that from an Eddie Reynoso, he can have some success in this fight.
We're just minutes away from the press conference starting. There'll be all 6 fighters here on location. When it comes to winning the press conference, we've got 2 months to break down the fights. But as for the press conference, other than Jose Ramirez, who we might not even hear one word from today, who do you think is going to steal the show?
It has to be Ryan Garcia. I mean, like we know it's going to end in a knockout. Rolly Romero's not made for the distance. When he comes to fight,
about the press conference today, the talking, the jabberjaw.
Rolly Romero. I think Rolly Romero or Teofimo Lopez. Both them guys have the mouth. I think they have the gift of gab. One of those guys.
I disagree. I think the 2 guys going to do the most talking to each other are not even fighting each other. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney are going to be talking to each other during this press conference.
What? I don't think Ryan Garcia is going to steal the show tonight. I think I see a different look of maturity.
I was around him earlier today. I don't think there's not a ton of animosity between him and Rolly. Like, Rolly has been posting some sparring videos of them back in the day. Ryan doesn't really love it, but I spent about 20-25 minutes doing a face-off with them earlier in the day, and there's not a ton of animosity there. There's real animosity between Ryan and Devin Haney. And we know what is being planned as part of this show. If Ryan and Devin both win their fights, they're going to face off in the fall of 2025. So I think we might start to get a little bit of that action built up going into this fight.
Hey, don't count out Teofimo Lopez. He's always willing to talk. I saw a post earlier today on the Ring Instagram website, or post. I'm too old to be. The Ring social media page, where they were going back and forth at it. And Barboza, man, he wasn't backing down. He has a chip on his shoulder, kind of like you did back in the day. You felt like everyone disrespected you. No one was taking you seriously, despite what he's done against Ramirez and Catterall. He thinks this fight against Teofimo Lopez sends him to the moon.
Listen, man, we're cut from the same cloth. We're from the same area in Southern California, and even trained in the same gym. So, yes, he reminds me a lot about myself. But the thing about Barboza is he doesn't have the power, but he is a strong puncher. He's not the fastest, but he does have speed. He has great footwork, but he's not Sugar Ray Leonard. He does everything really, really good, nothing great. Those are the guys that don't make mistakes. Teofimo will make mistakes. He has the power, the speed, the footwork, the experience. But guys like Barboza, with the timing and the jab and the momentum, could give him all the headache in the world.
And I think the reality is that momentum does matter. Activity matters. Teofimo was going to be getting in the ring almost a year since his last fight, which was that win over Steve Claggett, which was a near shutout for Teofimo, but not the outcome that most people expected. Since that time, we have seen Barboza look excellent in his fight, in his last two fights, most recently against Jack Catterall. So he's coming in with some momentum on his side, confidence on his side, and again, he fights a style that I think Teofimo is going to have some problems with.
And let's talk about the venue for this fight. I don't think we can overlook it. It's going to be right in the heart of New York City, in Times Square. Sergio, there's only going to be like 300 dignitaries around the ring. It's basically going to be like a open outside sparring session type of feel. Which fighter do you think is going to handle that the best? We know people like Lopez loves to feed off the energy of the crowd. Ryan loves to just feed off his fans and the negativity and the hate. There's not going to be anything like that here. They're going to be like you see all the screens everywhere. They're going to be like a distant memory for some people wandering through the streets.
The funny thing about fighting outside, I hated it because the sound doesn't you don't hear anybody. The sound doesn't be kept inside, so you don't hear the roar of the crowd. You don't see the lights. It's going to be open, all the lights. You can see your opponent really clearly. I hated fighting outside. I think it's going to be the best for a guy like Ryan Garcia, who is accustomed to the limelight. He's accustomed to the attention. He wants to go for the knockout. He has the speed. I think he's made for the outside and that type of atmosphere.
I love that there are some tourists already planning a May vacation in New York City that are going to be coming out of the M&M store and walking to 3 World Championship level fights. It's such a scene here in New York, and it will be a scene on May 2nd. I do think that the environment matters, not so much when it comes to crowd noise or ambiance, but we're talking about a fight in early May in New York City. I am, and you are, Todd, a lifelong not a lifelong, but a Northeasterner.
Alabama, damn it.
You're from Alabama, I'm sorry. You're a Connecticut guy now. I am a lifelong Northeasterner. It gets cold in May in New York. It gets rainy at times at May in New York. I think that can be a variable in all this. The elements, I think, have the potential to be a variable, which rarely happens in the sport of boxing.
I fought outdoors in a desert at night on a Fernando Vargas undercard, and I can tell you, the cold will be a factor in boxing. So, yeah, watch out for that.
There's Teofimo Lopez greeting the media. He's not shy, signing autographs. He walked in, by the way, wearing overalls with one of the straps down and his nipples.
I was going to wear the exact same thing.
I know Chris Mannix feels he stole his fashion sense. We've also got Rolly Romero on the stage. We'll hear from all 6 fighters here momentarily. Chris, he thinks Arnold Barboza is the most well-rounded fighter of the 6. And what's great about these 3 fights, we've already seen a couple of them fight each other. Who's to say 6 months from now we might see kind of a shuffling of the deck and more of these matchups happen?
Absolutely. All these guys are in and around the same weight class, similar weight classes. We will probably, over the next couple of years, see these guys in different fights. No disrespect to Arnold Barboza, who is having a great run. But to me, the most well-rounded guy on this card is Devin Haney. He's the former undisputed champion at 135. He beat Regis Prograis, who was at the time arguably the top dog at 140. No, the fight against Ryan did not go his way. A lot of reasons for that, which have been discussed ad nauseum. But I think Devin Haney's skill set is still there. But Sergio, you brought something up that is interesting. The mental.
Second self at all time. Fight hard, fight clean.
Still the same guy that beat Lomachenko, that went to Australia and beat Kambosos twice, that nearly shut out that man, Regis Prograis. Is he the same guy, or did that beating that he took last April, did that change him?
Beatings take a little bit from a fighter. Every time a fighter goes through a war, he leaves a little bit of himself in that ring. You hear it all the time in boxing. Devin Haney's not going to get over that embarrassment. Forget the beatdown, the embarrassment that came from that. All those memes, all those tweets, all the social media, all that, this new young generation, they follow that. That sticks with them. That can either bring some fire in them or it could actually affect them. I think Devin Haney, mentally, it does the opposite. So I think he has a bigger bridge to climb in this fight.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Before the Ryan Garcia fight, Devin Haney was being criticized for being a boring fighter, being too defensive. We saw against Prograis, he didn't go for the kill. Is this last defeat and the way he, well, I guess he got overturned, but the way he was dropped multiple times by Ryan Garcia, is that going to make him even more defensive, even more patient, even less exciting?
Yes, unfortunately, yes, because he was already a cerebral fighter, a thinker. He wasn't a power puncher. He relies on the jab, and if he's controlling you with that jab and that distance, he's going to do that for 12 rounds. Now that he got shook, he got a little clipped, he already got embarrassed, that actually does something to a fighter. So he's going to have to evolve into something that we haven't seen in Devin Haney. So to answer your question, yes, I think we see a more careful Devin Haney.
I would say, too, that there is a flip side to that coin. We all know, we've called a lot of Devin Haney fights. He is obsessed with his power. Like, he wants to be known as someone that can cause damage with his power. We all remember after the win over Jorge Linares, he's in the locker room with Linares, and he's asking Linares, how does my power compare to Lomachenko? When I was doing the face-off between Devin and Regis Prograis, he took real offense to being called pillow-fisted. Like, he believes that there is a power puncher within it. Maybe an experience like that.
You used to feel that way, though, didn't you?
Yeah, but I was right. I didn't have power, and neither does Devin Haney.
Well, no, but Sergio, the point is, like, maybe after experiencing a loss like that or a beating like that, maybe that makes him recognize, look, this is who I am. I can be Floyd Mayweather. I can just outbox you in the way that he outboxed all these other top fighters, the Lomachenko, and more recently, Regis Prograis. Maybe that triggers with him. He doesn't take so many risks as he was taking in previous fights.
I'll tell you what, fighters are born with power. They can evolve into it. You can become a stronger fighter. You can work on your technique. You can wear different gloves, or mentally, you can think that you're a stronger puncher. But power, you're born with. So Devin Haney's never going to be a power puncher, ever. Ryan Garcia is a power puncher. Nothing's going to change there. If they ever fight again, it's going to be the exact same type of fight.
Well, we saw for Tank Davis, he was very judicious with his punches. It almost cost him a victory, and probably should have cost him a victory. Is there anything that Devin Haney and those type of fighters can learn from something watching Tank? Like, look, maybe it's not good enough anymore, Jack Catterall. You can't just pick and move your way to wins anymore, because judges are now starting to say, hey, if you're the aggressor, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, but I think those two guys are I put them in a separate bucket, right? Like, Tank Davis throughout the course of his career has been a slow starter. Jack Catterall throughout the course of his career has been a slow starter. I wouldn't define Devin as being someone that is more of a slow starter. In fact, like, I think there's a pathway to Devin Haney racking up 8, 9, 10 wins in a row, just fighting as a boxer. You look at the guys, talk about the guys on that stage. You can certainly make an argument, a strong one, that Devin is the best pure boxer of that bunch. You might say Arnold Barboza. Some people might say Teofimo because he beat Lomachenko first. But I look at Devin Haney as, at his age and this stage of his career, as being arguably the best boxer of that bunch. If he just focuses on that, if he forgets about trying to bang with guys, if he forgets about any type of power shots, he can win a lot of fights, Sergio, 9 rounds to 3, 10 rounds to 2. I think he can do that consistently against top-level competition.
This is the beauty of this card. I mean, everyone is missing a piece. You know, if one fighter has speed, the other one has power. One has footwork, the other one doesn't. The most complete fighter in this card, I would say, and I know it's going to be far-fetched, it's Arnold Barboza. He's the only undefeated fighter here. He's the one with footwork. He's the one with momentum. He's the one with good power, good speed. I don't know. Prove me wrong. I think Arnold Barboza has a little bit of everything.
Given what Barboza has done, it's an argument that you can now make. I just think Devin has done it at the highest of levels. He has beaten top-level, pound-for-pound guys. And Arnold Barboza has not yet done that. Maybe we're talking about it differently after this fight. Maybe outclasses Teofimo Lopez, and then we start talking about Barboza. I will say this. There's going to be an upset on this card. I firmly believe it. And if there's going to be an upset, I think it is Arnold Barboza against Teofimo Lopez. I think the style just works for Barboza.
Well, you mentioned that you thought Devin Haney could rack up 6, 7 wins in a row fighting that way. We know he's contractually obligated to face Ryan Garcia next if they both win. Do you put him as the favorite if he fights that style in the rematch?
You got to get out of the way of the left hook.
That's one of those 6 and a 7 in a row you just talked about.
Here's the thing, though. Like, and I know, I, as I always do, took some criticism of my scorecard calling it a draw the first time around. But you rewatch that fight against Ryan Garcia. Every round that Devin wasn't knocked down or hurt in, which granted was 4 or 5 rounds.
And he was winning.
He was winning. He was winning those fights. So when he does operate behind that jab, and he does fight a disciplined fight, he can be really successful. So I'm actually fascinated by that rematch. I think Devin is going to be much more cautious. He is not. Look, he went into that first fight with the attitude that this guy is not prepared. He blew weight. I'm going to walk right through him. He was way too emotional. I think he's going to be more analytical if they wind up facing each other in the rematch.
One more thing here. I said that you're born with power. One thing you're also born with, you can't work on a chin. Devin Haney, his chin is a little bit suspect. He's been hurt before. It wasn't just with Ryan Garcia. We've seen him shook before. I don't think he has confidence in his chin. So to come back after I don't really want to say beating, after a physical fight against Ryan Garcia like that,
at the risk of turning this into our podcast, I think it's the fact that he kept getting up is evidence of a chin, right? Like if you are getting knocked down and don't get up and knocked out, then you don't have a chin. Devin Haney got clipped on the arse, kept going. Knocked down 3 times by Ryan Garcia, got up every time, finished the fight. I think his chin is underrated.
Well, hey, both of your corners have thrown in the towel. We don't want to hear any more from you. We are now ready to get this party started. Let's send it to the stage, the master of ceremonies, the iconic Michael Buffer.
Jimmy Jones? Yes, sir. I want you to know one thing. Jimmy Jones! Static for what you have to say about it. You gotta remind them who you are.
Wait, apparently, the referee has said he's not going to accept your towels. This fight will continue. Apparently, we are having microphone issues.
Back to the Mannix and More podcast right here.
With Michael Buffer, but we didn't expect this. So as all 6 fighters hit the stage, which guy up there do you think has the most to prove on May the 2nd?
I have questions about Devin Haney. I think he has a lot to prove after that physical fight with Ryan Garcia. He's still undefeated. He still carries himself like a champion, but I think he has a lot to prove.
I'm going to go with Ryan Garcia just because of the circumstances of the last fight.
The microphone is fixed, and we will now check in with Michael Buffer.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. We got some audio. It's great. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the New York press conference to kick off the 2-city tour for Ring Magazine's inaugural American event, a never-before-seen evening of world-class professional boxing for your entertainment. And it's all on Friday, May 2nd, with 3 outstanding fights in Times Square, Manhattan, New York City, New York, USA. The 3 fights: Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza, Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, and Ryan Garcia takes on Rolly Romero, and it's all brought to you by Ring Magazine, along with SNK Corporation, the publisher of the famous video fighting game Fatal Fury City of Wolves, along with Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, Bob Arum's Top Rank Boxing, and it's all broadcast live exclusively on DAZN worldwide. Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce our press conference panel. Seated, we have the COO of Ring Magazine, Rick Reno, the chairman of Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn, the COO of Top Rank Boxing Incorporated from the Boxing Hall of Fame, Brad Jacobs, and a 7-time 6th Division world champion, Olympic gold medalist, the promoter of Arnold Barboza, Jose Ramirez, and Ryan Garcia from the International Boxing Hall of Fame, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. The champ always gets a hand. Sit down. And also part of our promotional team, he's not with us today, but Tom Brown of TGB Promotions. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the fighters. First, fresh off his split decision victory over Jack Catterall, he still has a perfect professional record. 32 fights, 32 victories. He is the undefeated WBO interim super lightweight world champion. He's going to be facing Teofimo Lopez for the title, Arnold Barboza Jr. And next, this gentleman will face Devin Haney. His professional record stands at 29 victories, 18 big wins by knockout, only 2 defeats. The former super lightweight world champion, the Jaguar, Jose Carlos Ramirez. And next up, a fan favorite, 16 victories, 13 of those 16 wins by knockout. He'll be facing Ryan Garcia. He's the former interim world champion at the lightweight division and former super lightweight champion of the world, Rolly Romero. boy from Brooklyn, New York, a two-division world champion, 22 fights, 21 victories, 13 wins by knockout with only one defeat. He is the reigning and defending WBO super lightweight world champion, Teofimo, the Takeover Lopez.
Hey, you heard that, Africa? He said Brooklyn, baby. He said New York. Hell yeah. My swag like it. My swag like it. 718,
And
man.
next up, also a two-division world champion with 31 victories, 15 KOs to his credit. From fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, the former undisputed lightweight world champion and the current WBC in recess undefeated super lightweight champion of the world, Devin "The Dream" Haney. Right, and finally, one of the most well-known names in the sport. From Victorville, California, USA, his professional record, 24 victories. 20 of those 24 wins by knockout, only one defeat, one no contest. The former WBC lightweight world champion king, Ryan Garcia. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, let me turn this over to our host for the press conference, the editor-in-chief from Ring Magazine, Mr. Douglas Fisher.
Thank you very much, Michael. Hello, New York City. I love being here. I'm a native New Yorker. There's something very special about being in New York City. Just returning as a native, but as a member of the media for more than 25 years, there's nothing like covering a prize fight in New York City. Now, normally it's at Madison Square Garden. In recent years, it's in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. But for this card, it's something very different. It's something that has never happened before. It's visionary, and some would say it's crazy because they start thinking about the logistics of it. Well, how does that work? Times Square. They're just going to build a ring there, and are they going to block stuff off? And what about the foot traffic and all of that? And are they going to show it on the screens, or how is this going to work? And I would just say, stay tuned. Just watch. It's going to happen. The folks who are putting this together, they're a little bit crazy, but crazy in that good way, in that they think outside the box, and they're willing to try new things. And I think that's very important in boxing right now. And I'm beyond pleased. It's more than a pleasure. It's really an honor for the Ring Magazine to be able to present this great event in association with SNK Games. With Ring Magazine and myself, you've got the establishment, you've got the record of boxing, you've got the historical publication of this sport that goes back more than 100 years. And with that recognition among hardcore fans and definitely fans of my generation and Mr. Buffer's generation. But there's potential fans out there that are under the age of 40. And I really think with associating and presenting this event with a game, I'm old, so I want to call it a video game, but Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, I really think that we can grab the attention of a younger generation, and putting it in Times Square, I really think we can just grab the attention of people outside of boxing, because that's something that's been missing. It's something that we need. It's something that used to happen back in the day when I was a young fan. People who were not fans at all of boxing, they could just be flipping through the channels, and they would see boxing on the nightly news. They would see boxing on free television. They would see boxing, great fighters being interviewed on Good Morning America or whatever the morning talk shows were. So if they didn't think they were boxing fans, they got pulled into it. And I really think that having this fight take place in Times Square, we're going to get casual observers who may not know they're boxing fans. But boxing has a way of pulling people in, and once that bug bites you, you're bit for life. And people here know about this because we're all real fans here. And so you guys know that these are real matchups. Sure, you can argue there's an A side and there's a B side. You could argue, well, there's odds favorites, or there's fighters that, the industry of boxing wants to see win. And I think if you follow the sport, you know it's no secret that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney over here, the plan is for these guys to get together for an anticipated rematch in October. And then a further plan is for the winner of that fight to face Teofimo Lopez. We've all talked about it, it's rumored. But if it's one thing running a publication has taught me, and being editor of a magazine, in boxing, there are no long-range plans. You gotta be loosey-goosey, you gotta roll with uncertainty and abrupt changes. And I feel like the opponents of, I won't even call them opponents, the fighter on the opposite side of the ring that are going to be fighting Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, they're not just coming to win. They, in their hearts, they know they're going to win. So it's these type of matchups that really keep us engaged. So without further ado, let's get into these matchups. I'm going to start off with the two-division lineal ring magazine champion, Teofimo Lopez. Lopez, I like what you have on there. What inspires this right here? Is this like the Warriors or something, or what? West Side Story?
I think, well, first off, let's say thank you to God. All praise be to Allah. Truthfully, I think that all these things come together, and that's really why we're all here. So we're here to create big, big fights, and this is what it's all about. I just want to thank everyone that's partaken in this, DAZN, truthfully, the ring as well, me carrying it, and Fatal Fury. Let's get it going. So to that, just balance, man. I'm here to bring and restore balance to this 3D dimension world and, just take over again, like I always do. Times Square takeover.
Teo, Arnold says that you've been avoiding him. He's wanted this fight for a long time, probably since you first stepped up from lightweight to junior welterweight. He's wanted this fight. Why hasn't it happened until now?
Why hasn't it happened till now? I mean, look, I'm just focused on fights, man. Just focus on big fights. I don't think Barboza is that type, but His Excellency, they asked for the fight. They think that it's a great fight, lucrative fight for this card, and hey, what can I do?
When it was first brought up to you a couple years ago, when both of you guys were Top Rank, were you thinking that he hasn't achieved enough, or he doesn't have a big enough name, or what was the reason?
Look, I think stylistically, he's a strong fighter, a strong Mexican fighter. I mean, we've seen those in the past and everything. I just think that, I think it's just the way Top Rank. I mean, Brad Jacobs is here alongside with me. I mean, he could probably give you guys more in detail in that form. I don't think that he had that eye, that fan base, bro.
Before we talk to Brad Jacobs, let's talk
he's
to
32.
Arnold Barboza.
Hold on, wait, but he's 32-0. He just got an interim world title. At 15 fights, I got my first world title, and I won it at Madison Square Garden. And then became undisputed at 16 fights. And I'm only 27. How old is you?
It's been a long time coming for Arnold Barboza.
32-0.
How come it took you so long? You didn't give a fucking right answer, bro. You still you beat around the bush when they said, how come you didn't accept this fight back then?
To be real, I think
it's time. Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what? Shout out to Top Rank, bro, for cutting the umbilical cord off and letting your ass crawl finally.
But I never fucking actually had that.
Hey, bro, you wanna wolf and talk and you're big and bad, bro, fighting an injured Loma, an injured jailer, bro,
injured
I'm the
That's crazy.
yeah, bro,
That's
come
crazy
on,
talk.
Come on, yeah, crazy.
Listen,
Arnold,
but I'm
crazy
here,
talk
right?
what you do.
I'm Ring Magazine, right?
Yeah,
Two-time,
okay, well, I'm
right?
taking that. I'm
WBO,
taking that Ring Magazine.
right?
Trust me, I'm taking that Ring Magazine.
They might put you as world, but I got
my last two fights, you ain't never done shit like that.
Arnold, can you confirm to us?
To be real, I ain't gonna be here to discredit none of y'all fighters. Y'all do y'all thing, but I'm the only real ring and WBO world champion in this bitch. I am that.
You are the reigning champ, but we have an undefeated contender here.
Best believe that.
Arnold Barboza,
I'm the only world champion sitting here right now. Only one.
You ain't no world champion, bro. You're fucking bum.
Damn right. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm a universe champion, baby.
I'm exposed.
I'm a universe champion.
I earn my shit. I travel. I earn my shit. Hostile territory, bro. You get your shit given to you in a plate.
I haven't seen it yet.
I earn my shit.
Where they at?
Ain't no one doing what
I'm
nobody,
doing,
because
bro.
everybody know how
I'm doing.
I'm fighting 3 of the top 5 guys in the 7-month span. Call me an old school fighter, bro. I'm fighting in a 7-month span, the top 3 guys in the division.
Arnold.
Hey, who are you?
Arnold, let me ask you a question.
Hold on, guys, hold on. Just Arnold, let's talk about that.
I think
All
this
right,
man's
you've been
cooking right
fighting.
now. That's crazy.
You've been doing nothing but winning. You've been fighting difficult fighters. You were willing to travel to Manchester, England. You wanted this fight years ago. I remember it was after maybe one of his first or second fights at 140 pounds.
Yeah.
You climbed up on the ring, and I saw Teo tell maybe Carl Moretti, hey, get this guy out of here.
He said, please, please. I
Right,
wanna
okay.
fight him.
So is it better now that the fight is happening on May 2nd than had it happened years prior? Have you grown since that point?
Man, I think T.O. was fighting me at the worst time he could fight me. You know, I'm coming off of two victories in like a 5-month span. You know, the train's hot right now. The train's going.
That's
the
what I
train's
like.
going, and I think that he you know, I'm shocked the world again. You know, I shocked it in Saudi, I shocked it in Manchester, and I'm gonna shock it again. New York in his hometown, right? I don't know if this is hometown, but yeah. See, I figure he don't have a hometown.
Nah,
He's
shut
a
that
mutt,
shit
bro.
up over there, yo.
He's a mutt, bro. He don't have a
Shit,
hometown.
ain't nobody from any borough came at me that way. All right, now.
Yeah.
They love me. They respect me. Because I respect the fuck out of everybody.
bro.
Arnold, I got another question. Arnold, I got another question for you. People know
Ain't nobody
about
racist
him
over here, man.
before
Matter of
they've
fact,
known
pick up a
about
banana
you.
for me.
Hey, don't
People
worry
known
about it, bro.
about
Hey,
Teo
don't worry
before
about it.
that,
I got him. Don't worry about it, bro. I got him. Don't worry about it. May 2nd, show up. Show up, and I'm going to show out. You'll see.
I need a sponsorship
Arnold,
deal. That matter of fact.
For people who don't know you,
Potassium, baby.
can you tell us a little bit about your background? I know you come out of a gym in South El Monte, the great Ben Lira. He's one of these gurus of boxing that people in Southern California, boxing people, they know who he is. They know he's a builder of champions going back to the amateur level. I know the people that you're involved with. I see you at the developmental shows, the club shows. There's nothing but respect between you and the fans and the boxing people of Southern California. But for folks from outside of Southern California, what makes you you? What makes you special? Tell us about that hard cloth that you were cut from.
Yeah, man. You know, I grew up in the city of El Monte. Nothing was given to me, man. Everything's been hard work. You know, from club shows, selling tickets, you know, hustling out there, man, trying to make my name. Nothing was given to me. Nothing was given to me. Everything was earned. You know what I mean? I'm not, I'm not, doing some, funny push-ups and shit on the internet. You know, I'm trying to grind, man. That's what I'm doing. You know, and I'm just a grinder. I'm a worker, man. I work hard. You know, I think that separates me from everybody else. You know, I think I'm at where I'm at right now because of my hard work. You know, shout out to my pops, man, who's been my trainer since I was 5 years old. You know, fighting in smoker fights. You know, because I was, I couldn't fight. I wasn't 8 years old, so I couldn't have a USA license. So I was fighting his undercard, my pop's undercard. You know, so man, that's the type of person
That's
I grew
illegal.
up, man. Grew up tough. You know what I'm saying? I grew up raised by a real man. You know, a real man takes care of his family, man. That's not on that goofy shit. You know what I mean? So look, man, May 2nd. You know, I'm a live dog in there, man, and he's gonna find out. He's gonna see, just like everyone else says. Oh, he's not another. Well, I'm not on no level. We're gonna see when I'm raising that Ring Magazine belt, this WBO belt.
I can't wait to see it. You guys, well said. Let's move on to the second matchup here.
The fuck, I didn't even finish talking, dog.
You want to
Hey,
have some closing remarks?
no one wants to hear your clown ass, bro.
Real quick,
Y'all
Teo.
been on trying to promote this. Oh, I see what the.
Come on, bro.
I see what we on,
Come
man.
on, bro. Everyone knows that's why, bro.
You know
Everyone
what
knows.
I'm
Even
saying?
Top Rank knows.
Nah, you know why?
Bro,
'Cause
Top Rank don't even want to be here, bro. They're just here because they have to be here. They don't even want to be
shit,
here to support you,
$30
bro.
plus million.
Come
Damn
on,
right they're
bro.
gonna be
It don't
here,
matter,
homie.
bro. It don't matter
Damn
about
right
that
they're gonna
shit.
be here.
Don't matter
Shit.
about that
Money
shit.
talk, bullshit walk.
Yeah, bro.
And you
but
full of bullshit.
Hey, bro, but
All right.
hey, don't
So,
worry, Top Rank.
look.
I'm gonna get those minimums down for you guys. Don't worry about that.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Save a
Same
little
way
bit.
they let you go.
Save
Yeah, well,
a
same way
little
they
bit
let
for
you
the
go. Nah,
stare
dog.
down.
I
Save-
gotta get
They're
mine,
gonna
dog.
send me
Ain't gonna
messages
work
after,
that
bro.
way,
They
bro.
think
This
they
the
have to-
takeover
Save a lot for May
reason.
2nd. Save a lot for May
Save that
2nd.
shit.
All
Y'all can
right.
save that up somewhere else, cause they ain't gonna hurt. They ain't gonna work over here, yo. They ain't gonna work
All
over
right,
here.
all right, I'm gonna move
Africa,
on.
you down there, bro. You got your time other times. You down over there, bro. Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead. Take your shit.
100%, bro. 100%. 100%.
Oh, is that Richardson
100%.
Hitchens? All right. Okay,
100%, bro. 100%. Hey, real fighters
see you,
fight, bro.
Richardson.
Hey, real fighters fight. That's it.
Real fighters, real fighters, real fighters.
You already know. Hey, you already know that's gonna
All
happen.
right, guys. All right, so
man, I'll be
plans are
honest
being
with you
made,
guys.
but
just tune
there's
in,
plans.
Man, to take
There's
over
plans for
every
May
time,
2nd.
every time, all time.
Teo, please.
No,
Teo,
I don't want
Teo,
to.
Teo,
Not
let me
going
speak.
to. I don't do that.
Teo,
What's up?
please. We're gonna move on to the next matchup.
Nah, man.
Devin
Hold on, let
Haney-
me finish
Devin
my
Haney
shit.
versus
How about-
Jose
how about
Ramirez?
Me? Like, I'm a Brooklyn-born Broward kid, so that's what it is. Brooklyn-born Broward kid.
All right.
All right. Yeah,
Have
I got the
you
key
had
to
your
the city
say.
of Miami, right? I rang the bell for the New York Stock Exchange. All right, these are all
got it.
facts. No, because at the end of it all, y'all wish y'all had it, but y'all don't. I've earned it. Truthfully, earned it in
right.
this bitch, in this ring. And every time they give me a
we
guy
see
that
you,
is
champ.
somewhat competitive like that,
We see you, Ring Magazine
we see how we
champion.
do it. We see how we do it.
We see you. All right.
All right, but
Devin
hey, Doug,
Haney.
you look handsome, man. By the
Thank
way,
you very
keep
much.
up the
You
great
like it?
stuff.
You
You know
like
what
the
I'm
suit?
saying? Yeah.
When I do these things, they get me new suits. So.
Yeah, for real, for real. Hey, you know.
Eddie's looking at me like, about time, dude.
Damn right, baby. All right, guys. Well,
All right.
it's a takeover. Peace.
All right, Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez, they may not be as chatty as we just saw with Teo and Arnold. But I can tell you from knowing both young men for a very long time, these guys are consummate professionals. These are young men who are about the sport of boxing, who are about dedication, who are about hard work. This is a fascinating matchup. Devin, I'm going to start with you because we haven't seen you since your fight with Ryan Garcia last year, early last year. I just want to ask you why the decision to lay out for the rest of 2024, and why did you choose Jose Ramirez as your comeback opponent?
No, I mean, first off, I want to thank Allah, alhamdulillah, for this opportunity. Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslims all around the world. And I took the year off. Like I said, I was going to. I wanted to spend some time with my family. I just had a baby, stuff like that. So I wanted to rest and recover. And I wanted to come back when I felt it was the right time. But when I came back, I wanted to fight the best fighters in the world. I didn't want to just face any regular Joe Blow. I wanted to fight a two-time world champion like Jose Ramirez, and that's why we picked him.
There are folks who say, Devin, that you were exposed. Even though you can argue, well, it wasn't an even playing field in that first fight with Ryan Garcia. They could say, well, we'd never seen Devin Haney hurt like that. We'd never seen him down on the canvas. He looked lost in there at times. Do you feel that there are questions that are being asked of you and that Jose Ramirez is going to ask those questions and you can answer them in the ring?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I fought somebody on PEDs. So that's how that fight was. But we move forward, and now the world wants to see what Devin Haney's going to show up. And, I'll look to give everybody all those answers on May 2nd.
All right. Jose, last time we saw you, you didn't look like yourself. It definitely wasn't your night, and I know there was some talk in and around the boxing community that, you know what, this guy was a 2012 Olympian. He was a unified champion. He's a hero in his community. He's got a lot of things going on outside of boxing. He could run for public office in his area, you know. People were saying, maybe you hang up the gloves. Can I ask you, were you considering that? And what brings you here to this point right now?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank God, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for blessing me with all those great blessings in my career. Since I started at the age of 8 years old, becoming an Olympian and a unified world champion, becoming a world champion at 25 years old, a unified world champion at 27 years old. And, I think what it was is probably staying at 140 for too long. Once I saw myself, struggling to make weight and, push my body through that pain and grind, I think I was harming myself, but I'm a guy with no excuses, man. I'm a guy who never says no, and I think I did that to myself. But hey, that was a mistake that I did on my part, and it's time for me to grow and move up to the next weight class at 147. So, I know what I could do. What I've been doing in sparring against guys who are world champions as we speak, guys who are talked upon as future world champions, and I know what I've done to them in sparring, so I know what I'm capable. And comes May 2nd, I'm gonna go out there and make it a fight, man. Show the best version of Jose Ramirez, a bigger bull than what people have seen me fight in the last couple fights.
You took the next question right out of my mouth. I wondered, had you hit your limit, had you hit the ceiling on making 140 pounds? And I've wondered that for a long time. Even when you were champion, when I'd see you between fights, I'd be like, what? No way that guy makes junior welterweight. So you're expecting to feel very strong. I'm expecting Devin Haney to be very strong at welterweight too, because I look at him and wonder, how did he boil down to 135, let alone 140? But if he's healthy and at his best, we're talking about a very difficult, classic 1-2 boxing style. How do you get to him? How do you break that style down?
Yeah, man. You know, I've never been too worried about my opposition in my career, man. I'm focusing on myself. You know, I became the best boxer at lightweight in the Americas. You know, becoming an Olympian. You know, beating guys with different styles. You know, different sizes, different skills, different speeds, and I think people underestimate my speed and power. You know, but you know, I'm ready to put it together, man. May 2nd, and you know, if you thought I was strong at 140, you know, just watch me at 147.
I'll never underestimate your power or your heart and dedication, and nobody should underestimate your skills. You're a very good technical boxer. Devin, same question to you. Was it time? Was it overdue to move from 140 pounds to 147? Are you finished with junior welterweight?
Yeah, it was definitely time. My body just was maturing. 140 was hard for me to make. I was there. I felt good for one fight, but in the second fight, I didn't feel as good. Yeah, no, 147 is time.
All right. I can't wait to see this fight. It's a brilliant stylistic matchup. You got the stick and move boxer with a beautiful jab against the quintessential pressure fighter who has underrated skill and technique. All right, let's move. I'm not going to call it the main event because this is a true triple header. These are true co-headlining bouts. All three of these matchups could headline major arenas anywhere around the world. So let's move to the main event. Ryan, I'm going to start with you. Everybody talks about the grudge between you and Devin Haney, but it feels like there's a grudge between you and Rolly Romero here. And I seem to remember years ago when you guys were prospects at lightweight. You might have been at junior lightweight at the time, as a matter of fact. There was a lot of talk about a sparring session, and there was John going back years ago between you two. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I think we sparred about 8 years ago. You know, it was a little rough sparring, I guess, but you know, he continued to use that sparring to, you know, kind of boost up his career. Credit to his point. But I don't have no bad blood to him. You know, I'm here to, you know, do my job and, you know, set up that rematch. But I'm not overlooking him at all. I know that he's going to come to fight. It's a big opportunity. We're on the main stage, so I got to be sharp and prepare.
I was interviewed last year. I think it was Ellie Seckback, and he brought up this matchup. And he said, well, who do you like in it? You know, how do you see the fight? And I said to him, whoever lands first has a huge advantage immediately. It's like a lightning bolt left hook and a bomb of a right hand with Rolly Romero. Rolly, let's turn it over to you, that sparring session. It seems like Ryan's saying that you were kind of clout chasing, calling him out back in the day, but that's what young fighters do. But you do more than just talk on social media. I know you're a good interview. You move the needle. You got personality, but you're a former junior welterweight champion, and you've done a lot, even though you didn't have that extensive amateur background like everybody else up here has.
I mean, if I was cloud chasing, he would have had cloud. He didn't have cloud at that moment. He didn't have anything. So, but it's just sparring. We're gonna see in the real fight in the ring on May 2nd, and we're gonna make it a big fight. We're gonna make it one of the biggest fights in U.S. history, and that's for sure.
Rolly, I want to stay with you. The other guys, they've moved up in weight. We're talking about Devin and Jose Ramirez, and they had sort of hit their limit, making 140 pounds. I used to look at Ryan, and I used to look at you, and just wonder, how do these guys make 135 pounds? The fact that this fight is taking place at welterweight, does that suit you? Is that better for you?
I mean, I called this years ago, saying that me and him were gonna fight at welterweight, and this is when we were both 35-pounders. So, I mean, I long outgrown 140. I definitely outgrew 135 long ago. When I was 35-pounder, I should have been a 40-pounder. When I was 40-pounder, I should have been a 47-pounder. So, I mean, I'm like all muscle.
Does that affect your stamina? Does that affect your punch resistance when you're boiling down to make an unnatural lightweight?
I mean, it affects everything. I mean, it affects timing, explosive, everything. Anything you got, it really affects you.
Can you talk to us just a little bit about how important this fight is to you? I mean, is this the most important fight of your career, even though there's not a world title on the line for it? You're fighting one of the most popular fighters in the sport right now.
No, we're fighting for a WBA. For WBA regular.
Is it the full world title?
No, it's the regular.
I'm sorry, guys. I just recognized the Ring Magazine title, but you guys are real. You guys are real fighters. You guys are
You guys, it's a very good.
Hey, Turkey,
stylistic
I am
matchup.
your champion, by the way. Ring Magazine, I am your champion, Your Excellency.
We don't give a fuck what you
Your
are,
Excellency,
bro. Enough of
I
that
am
shit.
your champion.
Bro, we don't give a fuck, bro. I'm tired of hearing this shit. We don't give
Boxing,
a fuck.
baby, you gotta
And we gonna
respect
run
the
that
origin.
too.
Since
Promise I'm gonna get to
1600
you.
BCE.
Enough of this shit.
You guys are so boring. You guys are talking so
Shut the
polite
fuck
to
up,
each
yeah,
other.
because that's how we
crazy.
keeping it.
You guys
You
are all
talking
talking so
loud, bro.
politely, man.
We gonna
What
run
the
that.
fuck is
Remember that.
this?
We're gonna run that.
Yeah,
I like it.
I hope,
100%.
but like, bring it
Yeah,
in.
100%.
Bring it in.
I
Y'all
wanna
not
be
even
great
put the
too.
tip in yet.
Bro,
like,
like I
come
said,
on,
bro.
pause, by the way, pause. But y'all haven't
God
even
damn,
put the
shut
tip
up.
in, bro.
All right, getting fired up, Ryan. Okay, I'm gonna
Ain't
end
nobody talking shit right now. That's crazy.
I'm gonna end this session with the question to you. And I spoke to you a little bit,
Okay.
at the hotel a few hours ago.
Okay.
And we talked about you going into that first fight with Devin Haney and all the chaos, and you admitted you were not at 100%. There was drinking, there was smoking. You could have been in better shape. And you told me you got that out of the way. You're not drinking and you're not smoking. Do you have a renewed dedication to boxing and a renewed vigor for boxing? Because you're going to be fighting Rolly Romero, but I feel like you got Devin Haney in your sights, and it looks like you've got Teofimo Lopez in your sights.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to be great. I've always wanted to fight the best fighters in the sport. As far as, my problems outside the ring, I've always had those problems. I mean, I don't know who else struggles with stuff like that, but that's just something I was struggling with. And, I want to just show everybody that you could come back from anything. And I want to show my dedication to the sport and just be a true professional. I admit my wrongs, and I don't want anybody to, take my actions of drinking and smoking before the fight and try to, think that's a way to handle yourself as a professional. So I came here to change that, and this is my first fight to get respect back and then prove everybody that it wasn't a fluke, and I'm ready to do it.
You inspire us all, Ryan.
I like it. You can always come back. The redemption can be found in the ring and that path to the ring. So I love that, and I love the professionalism. I actually like the laid back, Ryan. You're a cool guy. You could be a cool guy. You could be a cool guy. All right. So before we stand you guys up for the face-offs, I'm just going to get some final remarks from our esteemed guests here. Let's start with Rick Reno, the COO of Ring Magazine.
Yeah, I just want to say, we have 3 dangerous fights. Everyone knows that it's the big elephant in the room. If Ryan and Devin win their fights, they will most likely go into a fight in the fall. I know Jose and his team have said Devin's never getting to that fight. I know Rolly and his team have been saying they're never getting to that fight either. On the other side.
No, I did not say that ever. My bad. They can fight after me. I don't really give a fuck.
And obviously, Tio is in a real dangerous fight. He's going to be defending WBO title, the Ring Magazine title, against the mandatory challenger, Arnold Barboza. Arnold is arguably on one of the best runs at 140 over the last 12 months. And I know Arnold's told me more than enough that Tio's never getting to any of the future plans that we have in store for him.
Man, just like all the other promoters had plans, we broke them, so we're breaking this one too.
And we could have, staged this event anywhere. We could have put it in any venue in New York, any venue in LA, any venue in Las Vegas, and it would have sold out. We wanted to do something special, something iconic, because, we would have put this any other venue, any other location. It would have just been a really big event with 3 great fights. We wanted something that, like, 25 years from now, people would look back and say, oh, my God, can you believe they staged that crazy event in the heart of Times Square? And even for the 6 guys up here, they could tell their kids, their grandkids, decades from now, I fought in Times Square. Not that I fought in the Garden or Barclays or the MGM. They could be the first 6 guys to say, I fought in the heart of Times Square with this collaboration that we're doing with SNK. So we wanted something that would create, when we started doing these Ring Magazine events and putting the stuff together, we didn't want to do the same cookie cutter type of events. No offense to my promotional partners up here, But we wanted something that, like Doug had mentioned, that was out of the box, something that people would think was insane. You know, when we first got this concept on paper, everyone thought it was just, we're just talking. You know, it's never going to happen. How are these guys going to do it? You know, I've seen the concepts, and it's going to blow everyone away. And I look forward to seeing everybody in May, and I will turn it back to Doug.
All right. Yeah, there's amazing things to come. There's some people in the boxing world who say, man, it's, you know, there's some big fights being made in boxing right now, and it's great, but it's all going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And it's like, no, there are going to be some huge events happening this year in America and in the most amazing, just imagination-stretching locations. I'm talking about, like, historical monuments. I'm not going to say where, but just stay tuned because there's some really exciting stuff to come. All right, Eddie Hearn, chairman of Matchroom Boxing. Would you like to share your thoughts on this card?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. I think it's all been said by these great fighters. You know, you talk about attracting a younger audience to the sport. You've got three of the faces of boxing in Ryan and Devin and Tio, but three great fights.
And Rolly, don't forget about Rolly.
I'm coming to you, Rolly. I'm about to big you up. So Arnold Barboza just come to Manchester to beat Jack Catterall. Jose Ramirez is a tremendous fighter. And this guy, it's the first time I spoke to him. He seems very focused. I think that's a great fight as well. So His Excellency has great plans, and people keep asking the question about where is boxing going? You know, Saudi Arabia, how long will it last? This is turning it up a notch. Because with SNK and Fatal Fury and Ring Magazine, the other thing that you didn't mention is 6 days before, you got 65,000 people at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for Ben Eubank. That's
the first Ring Magazine SNK Games presented event.
And that one, of course, is in front of 65,000 with a huge gate.
Yeah.
And when His Excellency said about doing Times Square and shutting it down, the first thing any promoter would say, what about the gate? But there's a method to the madness. It's a vision, and it's raising the profile of the sport so that everybody will tune in to the madness of closing down Times Square. The fights are the fights, and they're tremendous fights, and it's the right demographic to drive that audience. But the fascination with the concept of what he's doing and where he's placing these fights is going to make this a huge, huge draw on the night around the world. And, you know, I'm baffled by the plans. I know, you know, you were talking about other plans and locations. I've never seen anything like it. And I think we should all just realise what a good place boxing's in at the moment. And, you know, the famous words of thank you to His Excellency gets bandied around a lot. But really, the vision that he has, and not just him, but you guys at Ring Magazine and the team, you've never seen anything like this. Operationally, this is one of the biggest jobs that's been done in boxing, to close down this area for our sport. And right now, there's never been a hotter time for the sport of boxing. So good luck to all the fighters, and great to be working with Oscar and Brad and all the promoters coming together to just continue to change the face of boxing. And that's what's happening right now. This sport is on fire, and this is going to be another huge event. In 7 days, Ben Eubank, Fatal Fury, SNK, Times Square, and of course, don't forget moving into the Canelo event in Riyadh season. What a time for boxing, and it's only just beginning.
It's good stuff. When young fighters, and we have young fighters here, when young fighters are willing to challenge themselves, and when the promoters are willing to work together, nothing beats boxing. Brad Jacobs, you represent Top Rank, and that's the oldest venerable boxing promotional company in the world, really, since the mid-'60s. Obviously, Top Rank has been involved. And you yourself, during your Hall of Fame career, you've witnessed a lot of very interesting boxing events. What are your thoughts on this card?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. Certainly, like you say, I've been involved in a lot of huge events, but nothing like closing down Times Square. I mean, it's incredible. It's a testament to the fighters here on the dais. It's a testament to His Excellency and you guys at Ring Magazine. So we're just looking forward to it. The bottom line is Teofimo, not only a great fighter, but he's a showman, and he's going to prove that and steal the show on May 2nd.
All right.
I know that's right. I know that's right. This is TakeOver, Times Square TakeOver. You know it.
Oscar De La Hoya, the founder and chairman of Golden Boy Promotions.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Look, May 2nd will be one for the history books, a full-scale sanctioned professional fight held in the center of Times Square, which will be unprecedented. This event will come to life thanks to Salah Sports, Turkey Al-Sheikh. Their vision is unmatched. The sport of boxing will be on the global stage that evening with the bright lights of New York in front and center. This is what American boxing is all about. This is the highest level of boxing, especially at these weight classes. Thank you to Turkey for making the fights that everybody wants to see. This is truly a special one for the ages. And we are proud that Golden Boy Promotions has 3 fighters taking part in this epic event. It speaks to our company's dedication to getting our fighters the best opportunities in the sport. Look, the fight against Teofimo Lopez, and now speaking from a fighter's perspective, okay? I'm not a promoter anymore, I'm a fighter now. The Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza card, look, Arnold Barboza Jr. has been calling for a fight against Teofimo since 2021. Now following his defeat of Jack Catterall a few weeks ago in the UK, Barboza finally earned a mandatory shot against Lopez. Barboza has always been the underdog and has always fought tooth and nail for everything he has. We are extremely proud of him, and now he's facing Teofimo Lopez, who is one of the best lightweights in the world in the division. Both are tremendous warriors, and it's a pick'em fight. The Haney and Ramirez, look, as for the co-main event, what can be said about Devin Haney that the world isn't even already saying? It's like deja vu a year later here in New York City, except he is coming off a loss against Ryan Garcia. We all know how that fight went. From a fighter's perspective, I think that, you know, it's a pick'em fight. I think that this fight here with Ramirez will be an excellent fight. Styles make fights. I think that Devin Haney is a tremendous fighter. He is a tremendous boxer. I believe that it's all about will, it's all about smarts, it's all about how much you want it. And I think Devin Haney is a fighter who is going to come in and give it his all, but he's going to give it his all against a fighter who is an Olympian, a fighter who is an outstanding fighter in Jose Ramirez. So this is going to be one for the ages. Again, I think it's a pick'em fight because both guys really have something to prove. And for Ryan Garcia and Rollies, I mean, what can I say? I think Ryan Garcia is back. I think boxing needs Ryan Garcia. I think boxing without Ryan Garcia is not the same sport. I think him facing Rollies is going to be exciting. It's going to be one of those fights where you just don't want to you don't want to miss it because look, Rollies throws bombs. He's a fighter that can come and fight. You don't know where those bombs are coming from, but if they land, they can do some damage. And Ryan Garcia, look, he's coming off, it's going to be about a year now. He's hungry. He's hungry to get on top. He's hungry to be world champion. What?
Oh, shit, pause, man. You forgot to pause. That's no Diddy.
Oh, that.
Big drama
Oh, sorry.
show.
All right.
Big drama show.
My bad. All right. It's got that. All right. No, he's ready to just get on top of the boxing world. He's ready,
Big
not put
drama.
any oil. You know?
Drama show.
So this fight card, look again. Thank you, Turkey, for making boxing great again. Boxing is back, and let's keep it this way. I'm glad we're working with Eddie Hearn. I'm glad we're working with Top Rank, but let's keep it this way and make the big fights happen.
I got to charge him for that.
Thank you.
All right, well said, Golden Boy. All right,
Big
Rick,
drama show.
Oscar, Brad, Eddie, thank you for those final remarks. And now we're going to set up for the stare down. So Ryan, Jose, Arnold, you guys move to this side, and Rolly, Devin, Teo, you move to this side, and we'll treat you all to the stare down. Thank you. My name is Doug Fisher, editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine. Thank you for allowing me to host this special event.
Back on the mic, it is Todd Grisham, Sergio Mora, and Chris Mannix. We're from up on the stage here, bird's eye view. All right, Sergio, was there a winner of this press conference today?
No, I think everyone said their piece, but I love Teofimo. He brought the energy, man, and he's right. I mean, it's a big man, we have a lot of star power out there, but everyone was real reserved, especially Ryan Garcia. You know, we've been accustomed to seeing the crazy side of Ryan Garcia, the wild side, but now we've seen a reserved side, a patient side, someone that you know, wants to just be a better person, it seems like. And Teofimo's like, nah, let's go back to the old stuff. Let's promote this thing like we should.
I think the energy was certainly brought by Teofimo Lopez in this fight. And if you weren't excited about a matchup between Teofimo and Arnold Barboza, you probably were after that press conference. Context is king here. These two guys have been circling each other for the better part of the last 5 years. Both for many years fought under the top-ranked banner. Both were 135-pound contenders. A fight between them never materialized. Now here we are at 140 pounds, and I don't think Teofimo cares all that much about Barboza, but you can tell Barboza is motivated to take on Teofimo Lopez. So that, to me, got everybody's kind of proverbial juices flowing for this fight.
I thought Arnold Barboza Jr. had a lot to say and spitting a lot of facts as well. I mean, this guy, Sergio, in his last 2 fights has been the big underdog. He's gotten 2 huge wins, and now he's a 3-1 underdog against Teofimo.
It seems like he's destined for something great, man. He's working harder and harder, and he said it up there on the dais. I've worked hard for this opportunity. Him and his father, since they were kids, worked hard for this. And look, man, the stare down says it all. This is going to be the real deal right here. I mean, this is a fight-stealing matchup right here.
It's not considered the main event, but it might make the most noise. Barboza Jr. still feeling disrespected. And Teofimo Lopez, guys, I feel like he didn't say it, but I think he's looking past Barboza. He's looking to maybe fighting Ryan Garcia down the line or maybe Devin Haney. I think he thinks this fight is in the bag.
I think he believes that he's on a different level than Arnold Barboza. And I think in the past, you might have been able to make that argument. But given the run that Arnold Barboza is on over the last 6 months, wins over Jose Ramirez, a win over Jack Catterall, he is rising to a different level. And now here both these guys are at 140. And look, you know, Teofimo does have the best win at 140 between the two, that win over Josh Taylor. But in recent fights, Teofimo has not looked at his best. In recent fights, Arnold Barboza sure has.
The takeover of Times Square is coming May 2nd, according to Teofimo Lopez.
This fight is going to come down to hunger, guys. I'm telling you right now. Talent is one thing, momentum is another. It comes down to who's hungrier. As cliche as it sounds, both of them stylistically are totally different, but who's hungrier? Man, I can't wait.
Chris, you've mentioned many times how important activity in boxing is. Teofimo Lopez, not active. Barboza Jr. about to fight for the 3rd time in 7 months.
Yeah, look, Barboza is sharp. There's no doubt about it. Not only has he been active, he has been active against some high-level fighters. We'll see what Teofimo's at. He has not fought since last June. That was the win over Steve Claggett. He got a wide decision win in that fight, but people didn't walk away from that fight feeling all that impressed. So if momentum matters, momentum is on the side of Arnold Barboza.
And Teofimo Lopez did make an excellent point up there. He is a ring champion. He's the only champion on that dais. I mean, he's carrying himself with all those belts, all that silverware right there. I mean, he is the real deal, man. At 140, this guy's the best at 140, and on a good night, he's the best.
And now for the 2 quietest fighters on the dais, the soft-spoken Jose Ramirez and Devin Haney, who I thought we'd hear more from today, but just didn't seem too interested in talking.
Yeah, this fight is really fascinating because we don't know what both guys are going to bring to the table. In the case of Jose Ramirez, you heard Doug Fisher say that on the stage. There are a lot of people that believe he was done. You know, he had been in the game for the better part of 13 years, former Olympian in 2012, has not looked good in recent fights and was outclassed by Arnold Barboza in that last fight. Devin Haney, he is coming off the worst beating of his professional career. Yes, it was wiped from his record, but there's no doubt that was a pretty significant beating. How will he bounce back from that? What does Jose Ramirez have left at 147 pounds? That's an interesting fight.
The last time we saw Ryan Garcia here in Times Square and the hype for the Devin Haney fight, he was a completely different person than what you're seeing right now, Chris. He could barely sit still.
He couldn't. He was ready to go and ready to fight. I think he's still ready to fight in this matchup with Rolly Romero. I think this is great matchmaking for Ryan Garcia. Rolly Romero has credibility because he is a former 140-pound champion. He has real power in that right hand, but he has also proven to be a little bit chinny in some of his recent fights. Knocked out by Isaac Cruz, put on skates for a while by Ishmael Barroso. Like, he has had some problems in some of his recent fights. Is he going to be able to stand up to the power of Ryan Garcia? That's what we're going to find out.
So that was the main event, Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. Listen, Rolly Romero is one of those guys that just won't shut up, Sergio. And apparently until you put him on the stage in Times Square with the bright lights on him, he really didn't say much of anything. I thought he would be going right after Ryan Garcia, but he's basically like, hey, even if you know, I win this fight, they can fight down the road. I
You
don't
know,
really care.
Rolly Romero, he's a little bit charming. He's not articulate. He's not gonna say mean things. He's not passionate. But the few words that do come out of his mouth, people either laugh or pay attention, or they're gonna write about it. Rolly Romero has charisma. Ryan Garcia has the power and the speed and the following. Rolly Romero has the power and the charisma. That fight is gonna be explosive. It won't go the distance. They're both vulnerable. Yes, Rolly is a little bit chinny, but he's been knocked out by big punchers. Garcia has been knocked out only once by a big puncher. Both of them, yeah, man, I can't wait for that fight. That's going to be a rock'em sock'em type fight.
Do you think the Ryan Garcia we see on May 2nd is going to look like the one that fought Devin Haney?
No, I think it's going to look very different. I think that Ryan Garcia is gone. All the things he was going through last year, all the battles he was going through internally, he's a very different fighter, and he's a very different person overall. I think the reunion with Eddie Reynoso is going to be really good for Ryan Garcia. I was talking to him earlier in the day, and one of the things he said to me was, hey, I'm going to get back to being the tactical fighter I was under Reynoso. I'm going to be setting up my shots in ways that I wasn't doing in the last fight against Devin Haney. You guys remember that last fight? He came straight at Devin Haney. He was a bull in a china shop looking to get a knockout early and put a hurting on Devin Haney. I think he's still going to be looking to put a hurting on Rolly Romero, but he's going to do it in a more disciplined way. He's going to be looking to set up that left hook to put Rolly down the same way he put down Luke Campbell with a body shot, Francisco Fonseca with a headshot. I think we're going to see an older version of Ryan Garcia.
Well, hey, last weekend in Riyadh, we called it was the last crescendo, but many calling it the biggest boxing card of all time. But pound for pound, considering this is just 3 fights and that was 7 fights, it's hard to make a better card than the one we're going to see in Times Square May 2nd. And Times Square is like its own enigma. I cannot wait to see how they have that set up. Only 300 fans will be allowed ringside, so the only place for you to see it is right here, live on DAZN. Coming up live this week, Flores versus Lavia, then Pettis versus Yana Shakur. That's this Friday. And then next week, Lucas Body, the man who scored the knockout of the year against H2O Silva, will be squaring off again in Canada, this time against Roxaya. Make sure you head on over to the DAZN platform where you can see our upcoming schedule, where we list out all the exciting fights that will be streaming live on DAZN. Plus, you can check out the new Ariel and Ade podcast, which will be going live just here in a few minutes on DAZN.
Hey everyone, I'm Ariel. And I'm Ade. Introducing the Ariel and Ade Boxing Show. All the headlines and hard-hitting debate from the world of boxing.
And we've got special guests every single week.
So if you love boxing, you'll love this program.
Every Tuesday, live on DAZN.
Big fights coming up on DAZN. How about Atlantic City? We're going back to remember all the legendary fights? Well, we're back. Boots Ennis and Lattes Stanionis. That should be a banger Saturday, April 12th. And then the one, how do you miss this one? Eubank Jr. versus Ben in Tottenham, sold-out stadium, Saturday, April 26th. We continue live here from the Palladium in the heart of New York City, Times Square. Yeah, get in here.
Sorry.
Ariel Helwani and Ade, their podcast is taking the world by storm.
I don't know how I feel about this word podcast.
I think it's overshadowed Ariel's MMA show. I think the boxing podcast has taken Ariel to a whole nother level.
About the word podcast.
With you, Ade, how do you feel?
Does it feel like a bit of a downgrade for what we are?
I'm not going to care about that bit. The first bit he said was so true.
Yeah, it was true.
Yeah, It's taking you to another level.
Oh my God.
It's taking you to another level. You're getting the respect from all the boxing fans.
Yeah,
and you know that's not. Yeah.
We're earning that respect.
Yeah.
Just ride Ade's coattails. He'll take you to the
loyalty and respect, right,
yes.
Todd?
Yeah. What do you guys have on store for Ade and Ariel this week?
It's actually Ariel and Ade.
No, stay there.
It's actually
No,
Ariel
stay there.
and Ade.
No, it's not. It's not. No.
Sorry, it's like I'm burying you from the top.
Everyone does this. Everyone does it.
Wow, it's so good to be here. I missed you all.
We're gonna. You mentioned what's going on at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, April 26th. We're gonna talk about that.
Yes.
We've had 2 press conferences and they've been crazy. A bit more crazier than that, although that was very interesting. No slaps in that. We got a few egg slaps in the one I covered. Just saying.
We had a pancake slap this morning. Excuse me. That's a mouthful from KSI. I don't know if you saw that
I did see that.
The Misfits press conferences. There's a lot of slapping with food going on in the UK these days. But most importantly, we have to recap the weekend that was in the sport of boxing with the controversy, or as they say, controversy over in the UK with Tank Davis taking the knee right here in New York, over in Brooklyn, the Patty Donovan controversy as well. A lot of controversy. And of
refs
course,
are in the limelight, right?
Yeah.
They
So
are.
a lot to discuss, Todd.
Hey, I know Tyson Fury, AJ, they're all saying that'll be the biggest fight in British history. But I tell you what, this one feels like it's right up there, right? Eubank Jr.?
Yeah, it's trending to be enormous. I mean, everyone talks about sort of numbers in terms of ticket sales. Pre-sales, 126,000 people in the queue. General sale, nearly 250,000 in the queue. It's sold out. It's sold out. I can't get you a ticket, Mom. Anyone that wants a ticket, I can't get you a ticket. Okay, maybe my mum. Maybe my mum. But it's enormous. Good undercard as well, so that we're excited. He's sending us to wrap. Our producers here.
Oh, they are? Okay, wow. I thought we were just getting started.
Ariel, you get the last word. 10 seconds. Why should they watch today?
Ariel and Ade coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere. Don't turn that dial, change that channel, whatever you say. We're going to react to this press conference, everything coming up, and of course, a very busy past weekend and weekend to come. They're going to Canada, MVP is, in the sport of boxing. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
All right, so long from the heart of New York in Times Square as we're starting to count down the days till May the 2nd, that trifecta triple header boldly going where no boxing card has gone before. For Chris Mannix, Sergio Mora, Ariel, and Ade, I'm Todd Grisham. So long, everybody, from the Big Apple.